But Niners crew, and we are back again. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to overreact. The first overreaction show, which you guys all know that Nothing But Niners does, an overreaction show after every single game. So tonight we're going to overreact to the 17-9 win over the Dallas Cowboys tonight. So, but before I get into all that, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. If it's your first time here on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. It's right down there in the right-hand corner. Make sure you set your bell for a notification so you know when we go live. And also check us out on Twitter and Snapchat at Nothing But 9ERS. Check us out right there. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Nothing But Niners, all spelled out. Tonight, I got my homie JD here with me. JD, what's going on, baby?
What up, man? I'm hyped up. 49ers football is back. It's my birthday. I got the Red Bull. I'm ready to go, man. There was some good and some bad tonight. I'm excited nonetheless, man. Can't wait to get the show started. And let's get it, man. Niners football's back.
Yeah, man. And all right, so we got JD in here. We also got my homie Marcus. What's going on, baby?
What's going on, man? What's up, everybody? 49er faithful. Nick, what's going on? JD, happy birthday, big homie.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys. So tonight was an interesting one, man. I'm trying to get Mike in here right now. He's at a bachelor party, guys, so he's going to hop in real quick. I'm not sure what he's going to do, what he's going to say, or anything like that, but I'm trying to get him in here. I did just send him the message that we're live. I apologized about the little mishap and not starting right away. We had to get some things situated over here. So, guys, tonight was a 17-9 win over the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't care if it's preseason or not. Anytime we beat the Cowboys, I am super ecstatic. Doesn't matter how, when, why, wherever. So, tonight, guys, as you guys know, it's overreaction show. So basically, we're going to talk about some goods. We're going to talk about the bads, but we're going to more so focus on the negatives of the game and why we could do better or how we could do better and things like that. So just want to say, what's up to everybody in here. Make sure you guys all wish JD a big happy birthday today, man, because today is his birthday, as you see on the screen right there. Happy birthday, JD. I already sent you a text earlier, but I'll say it again. That is at Hawk Hater TV on YouTube, guys. Make sure you go over and give him a like and subscribe as well. Follow him over there, and you can check him on Twitter as well at Hawk Hater TV. So, guys, tonight's game, man. I'm going to start off with the goods, right? And we'll talk about that. Well, let's start off with the goods. We had 28 people sit tonight, right? So nobody big-time names started, which I was kind of excited about because I got to see some of these guys that I wanted to see that you've been hearing about in camp. You know, you had Austin Walter playing tonight. You have Raheem Mostert playing, who left with an injury, concussion. Then you had a guy who we just picked up today run the ball like 3 or 4 times and looked good doing it. Going into that, Nick Mullins looked okay. He was 11 for 17, 105 yards with a touchdown. C.J. Beathard was 13 for 17 with 134 yards, I believe it was. A touchdown and an interception. Jalen Hurd stuck out. What are you guys' thoughts on Jalen Hurd, man? JD, let's go with you first.
Well, it is an overreaction show, is it not? My overreaction to Jalen Hurd is he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Point blank, period. Jalen Hurd, seriously though, Jalen Hurd looked phenomenal. I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to come out and play the way that he did. You saw a little bit of everything that he brings to the table tonight. That first touchdown catch, he caught the short little the crosser route, lowered his shoulder to get into the end zone, physical, and then you see it later on with the jump ball fade for his second score, you know, showcasing his traits as a really tall, big-bodied receiver who can go up and get the ball. I didn't expect him to show out like he did, but I'm damn sure glad that he did, man. Jalen Hurd was definitely the standout for me tonight.
Yeah, before we jump into that, let me add Mike real quick because I seen he just popped in. Mike is at the club over here.
Hey, we won! Hey!
Mike, you got it.
I'm out.
Then I'm out. Mike is funny, man. Mike is funny. he probably couldn't hear anything we were saying. But yeah, so I want to hear what you have to say about Jalen Hurd, Marcus. I want to hear what you got to say about that.
I think, going along with what JD said, I think he was definitely tonight's outstanding performer. Obviously, he had two of our biggest scores. We were kind of sputtering along in the first and in the second, but that like JD said, he gave you a little bit of everything. That physicality that we heard about in practice, he played with that the entire game. He showed strong hands. He showed the ability to get open, and he showed the ability to run through the chest of the defender. He's as advertised, and I would love to see what he can do when we have other weapons on the field, when we have Goodwin stretching the field, when we have Kittle, drawing double teams in the middle of the field, when we have, our offensive line and Jimmy at quarterback able to really put the ball on the money. I can't wait to see what he really can do when he has those other pieces around him that can kind of take the focus off of him. I think he just adds another piece. And what we saw tonight is exactly what Kyle envisioned for Jalen Hurd in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, I did not like JD said. I want to put this up here real quick because this just came out. So Shon Coleman to get MRI tomorrow, but the injury to his lower leg is believed to be a season ender. So that's tough. That's a tough hit right there. Now, we are second in the waivers once teams start getting cut, so we could probably pick up another offensive lineman there. That's kind of interesting to something to look at and see. But I just want to let everybody know Shon Coleman is getting an MRI tomorrow, but it does is to be believed to be a leg injury, a lower leg injury that is season ending. So tough break for him, no pun intended, or whatever it is. Obviously, it's not a break if it's an MRI, so hopefully he didn't tear something in his knee. But if he's getting an MRI, it doesn't look like a break, but who knows? Who knows? But going back to Jalen Hurd, I did not expect him to really be an intricate part of this offense this soon. But you could definitely see that he was an intricate part of this offense tonight. I mean, once he came out, him and Deebo, at one point you had Poindexter, Deebo, and Jalen Hurd in the red zone as three wideouts. Huge. And we throw a fade, who actually we have a guy who can catch a goddamn fade now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not that Michael Crabtree bullshit. And neither of them waited on the football. The Deebo catch, he came back, didn't allow the DB to make a play on it, on a contested catch, made the catch, great catch, underthrown ball, shitty throw by Beathard, but Deebo came back and got it. Jalen Hurd on the fade, came back and went up and got the football. So, I mean, those were two good takeaways that I took out of those guys tonight. Hurd definitely played well. Now, let's talk about a negative. Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis was asked, or Kyle Shanahan was asked about Dante Pettis from Grant Cohn in the presser. You didn't start a lot of your starting receivers. Why was Dante Pettis out there? And he said his answer was Dante Pettis needs to compete. I believe that he can be better than what he is, but there are things that he can get better at. And to me, I called this last week, and I said I'm really worried about Dante Pettis catching the football. And he got no looks tonight. He wasn't getting a lot of separation, and I'll see more when I watch the All-22. But from what I saw, it didn't look like he was getting separation. And you're supposed to be the number one wide receiver, yet you're still playing in a preseason one game when Marquise Goodwin is sitting. So what the hell is going on with Dante Pettis? Is it just he's soft? Like what? I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. And I was having this conversation with a buddy of ours, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. But I was watching Grant Cohn's last live on Twitter, and he's been saying it a few times, but Grant Cohn has said that Dante Pettis has been struggling in camp. And because I'm not there and I can't see, I don't know exactly what he means by that. He hasn't really elaborated. Because, when you look at highlights on either the team website or on Instagram, you see him making catches. You see the highlights, but you don't see any of the lowlights. But for somebody like Grant, who's there every day, he's been saying that Dante has been struggling in camp. And it was highlighted by that time where he was pulled in favor of Kendrick Bourne. So I don't know what's going on. I thought that the wide receiver one was his job to lose. And it looks like he may be losing it.
I saw him out there late in the second quarter returning punts, and I hadn't really realized that he was still in the game. And like I said, I saw him out there returning punts late in the second quarter, and I was like, wow, why is he still on the field? And I was thinking about it, and yeah, I mean, he's been struggling in camp. It looks like Kyle's trying to get him out there, get him some more, more playing time. I don't know if he's necessarily like punishing him by putting him out there in a preseason game in that kind of a situation, but it looks like they're not happy with what they've seen from Pettis, so they're trying to get him out there and see if he can knock off the rust or knock off whatever is going on up in his head. I don't know. Dante Pettis is definitely causing some concern for me, and I know all the other Niner fans. But again, I'm not trying to overreact too much because he still is a young player. He's a second-year player. He should be out there playing in preseason games. But at the same time, we've kind of built him up this offseason as that number two / potential number one guy, and he's not showing it. He's getting bashed in during training camp, and he's out there returning punts in the second quarter against second and third string guys in a meaningless preseason game. Risk of injury there is high. So I don't know, man. Yeah, it's definitely something to look at going forward for sure.
To me, Dante Pettis is like, he's very wiggly, right? And he gets that separation. But if he's going to take a big hit, he's kind of got alligator arms. You saw this last year across the middle. Now you got Deebo for that. You got Jalen Hurd for that. So, I guess my question about this whole thing is there a reason to raise our eyebrows on how Dante Pettis is playing right now? Now, I know people will say Grant Cohn doesn't like Dante Pettis, so he'll say this. And I've seen comments in here saying that. But if you look at the breakdown, as in targets and catches, Dante Pettis is really, really low. That's numbers. That's not somebody talking bad about Dante Pettis. That is literally saying Dante Pettis was throwing the ball 7 times and he caught 2. That's true facts. And we saw reports of him dropping and over the head, right through his arms, wide open ball in camp. We saw contested catches not coming down with them. Going across the middle and kind of alligator, pulling in before he had the ball. Do I think Pettis is a wash? No, don't get me wrong. I don't think that at all. I don't want people to think that. I'm thinking that. But Pettis needs to work on some things, man. And I understand that he's a second-year guy. He's going into his sophomore year. He didn't really play a full season last year because of his injuries. But these are things that he has to get better at. If you're going to play in this system, you need to be able to catch the football anywhere on the field, especially in a zone, because you go and you sit down in spots, right? So Dante Pettis is definitely on my watch list now as the preseason goes along because of what Kyle Shanahan said. This isn't me overreacting. This is me going off what Kyle Shanahan, our head coach, said, that he needs to get better at things and he needs to compete. There's guys coming for his job. And he literally said that tonight in the presser. So, we can sit here and say that it's an overreaction and we're, we need to cut him some slack because he's a second-year player. Well, we also need to realize that he's a second-year player and can still be outbeat and taken over. And that's what this 49ers fan base needs to realize. If Jalen Hurd comes out here and balls like he's balling for the entire preseason, I can honestly sit here and say Dante Pettis is not safe. Same thing with Deebo Samuel. And I don't know if you guys are in agreement with me. I want to get your thoughts on that. Marcus, you go first.
Oh, I'm in complete agreement because I'm tired of having a lackluster receiving core. I'm tired of our receiving core not being up to par, and we're looking for whatever means we can to push the ball downfield. Obviously, in Kyle's system, he's a great offensive mind. He can get guys open. So, it's great to have Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham. We wanted those guys this offseason, but Kyle has shown that, even with second-tier guys, he can get the job done. So if we have those guys who are really willing to fight and are willing to play and put their all in, that's what I want. Piggyback off of what JD said, I think tonight, Kyle was throwing Dante in one to give him opportunities to prove himself. I think he was almost throwing him a bone, like say, hey man, I'm getting you out there. I'm trying to get you to build your confidence up. I'm giving you every opportunity possible to make this team. Like you have to go out there and earn it. So I give Kyle respect for that because he isn't, like you said, he isn't just saying he's a wash and throwing him to the side. He's giving them every opportunity. But if these young guys are hungry and if they're coming in and they're attacking the ball, and I think the mentality of a Deebo Samuel and a Jalen Hurd are in stark contrast to what Dante Pettis is. And when you talk about those other two guys, the word in the football community is they have that dog in them. Dante Pettis doesn't have that dog. He doesn't have that. Dante Pettis isn't going to start a fight in training camp because he's blocking too aggressively. He isn't going to anger, the DBs because of the way he's playing. Jalen Hurd will. Deebo Samuel will. And I think that is what's causing the issues here. Grant Cohn also said that it was an issue with confidence. I don't know where that could be stemming from and why there is a lack of confidence. But at this point, Kyle and John have set this roster up to where there's competition across the board, and you really have to fight now for your job. It's not, well, we need bodies, so anybody can make this team. No, if you don't produce and you don't perform, you're not going to make that 53-man roster.
Well, and that's kind of what I was like hinting at. We've all been sitting here saying it all year long that this wide receiver group is stacked right now, as in competition level wise. Not saying that we got 3 number 1 wide receivers because we don't know what we have in Deebo Samuel and we don't really know what we have in Jalen Hurd after one game. But we saw attributes that this team needs. The physicality of coming back and getting the football on an overthrown ball. Coming down with it, that slap of the basketball, as Kyle Shanahan says. We've seen that with the tough hands. So it's just to show that I don't understand why all of us, and myself included, have been saying that Dante Pettis is safe. And I understand that because he's a high draft pick. He was here last year. But if other guys are better on this team, that's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
And, that's not saying that, we should cut Dante Pettis, because I'm not saying that. But this is, like Marcus just said, this is the opportunity of Pettis to step up and show that he is going to compete and play against these guys. He was going against twos tonight and couldn't do anything. So, yes, this is an overreaction show, guys, but I'm kind of truthful with what I'm trying to say. Just start to watch a little bit more of Dante Pettis, because I've been saying it since these reports have been coming out of drop balls in camp and things like that. And what I seen from Hurd tonight, I wasn't big on Hurd at all. But what I seen from him tonight, he's a physical fucking receiver. And that's what we need. We need guys that are going to protect the football, catch the football at all means, and not shy away from contact. So, all right, let's move off of Dante Pettis. I'm not even going to start this one. I want to hear what you guys think about Kendrick Bourne.
I'll go first. I've been on this show before. I've done streams and videos on my channel before, and anybody that knows me and has talked to me long enough will know that I've said that Kendrick Bourne is replaceable. He's nothing special, never has been. We've just been starved for good wide receiver play. So we saw something that was average and we ran with it. That we're Niner fans. It's what we've been doing for quite a long time. Kendrick Bourne is replaceable, nothing special. You see him tonight, and Nick, we talked about this right before the show started, man. Kendrick Bourne was a dumpster fire out there tonight. He did not look good. I mean, penalties, drop balls, I mean, you name it. He didn't look good out there. And with the competition that we have on this depth chart with wide receivers right now, he's not doing himself any favors, man. Marcus, what do you think, man?
Yeah, the drop that he had early in the game was – and he was somebody who Grant Cohn said was having a great camp. He was stepping up and he was doing the things necessary. Now, could you say it's rust? Maybe. Could you say it's, he was too open and he didn't think that, he was going to be that open to make that catch? Maybe. But, along with the penalties, the simple mistakes, the mental error, the bonehead things that happen in the game, and that drop was one of them. These guys who are, established, who've been in the system, who've played here, who have a better grasp of the system, they got outplayed by these young guys tonight. They really did. I expected them to come out and hit the ground running and just show something and put something on film to make us say, okay, you brought in 2 wide receivers. You drafted them back to back, one in the second, one in the third. If somebody if 2 people are hired back to back and they're in my same position, that makes me think, whoa, okay, what's going on here? So, I would think that would cause them to kind of step their game up and ramp it up. But tonight, it just didn't show. The young guys were hungry, and they definitely made Bourne and Pettis look bad.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to kind of shy away from this because I have come from thinking Kendrick Bourne would make too many bonehead mistakes to where I started to give him a chance. And then you've seen the bonehead plays again tonight. Now, do I think he's an athlete? Yes, I think he's a hell of an athlete. The things that I want to see, and I see Dre's back in here, and this is Kendrick Bourne is Dre's dude, right? So he says, Nick, we all know you hate Kendrick. You even call his block a chop. He got called for a chop block. I didn't call it that. He literally got called for that. So it was 1 drop and 1 catch first preseason game. He had 1 drop that hit him in the numbers on a 3rd down, a crucial situation in the football game, to turn over the ball in a crucial situation. This is where I get mad at him because the ball hit him directly in his numbers. Mm-hmm. There's not a reason that an NFL receiver should drop a football that hits you directly in the numbers for a basket catch. It wasn't like he had to go up and get the football, change direction and get the football. It was a perfect dime in his chest, and he dropped it on a crucial situation. Preseason or not, this is how guys get cut. I'm just speaking facts. This isn't about Kendrick Bourne hate. It's literally not. It's not about Kendrick Bourne hate. And that's why I said I'm kind of trying to shy away from it. But these are if this was Dante Pettis, I would say the same thing. If this was Richie James, I'd say the same thing. If it was Marquise Goodwin, I'd say the same thing. This was in a crucial situation in the game on a 3rd down, and all I say is I want a receiver to catch the football when it's thrown to him. He did not have to make any type of adjustment to catch that football. That is why I'm harping on him so bad tonight. And if you don't think that he should have caught that football, then you're just straight up Bourne riding. Because if that was anybody tonight, if Jalen Hurd would have dropped the ball like that, I would have said the same exact thing. Same thing about Deebo. Like, I don't get where everybody's saying that KB is such a clutch receiver. Like, I don't get that. Because he played, and these are facts. I'm not trying to be, I want KB to make this team. Because if he makes this team, it means he's better than other guys. And that's exactly how I feel about it. There's no KB hate. But last year he played clutch because he was the only receiver that was playing. That was clutch. And everybody can hate on me for saying that or disagree or whatever. That's seeing with my own damn eyes. He led the team in receptions and red zone targets because he was the red zone guy. There was nobody else. He's not going to lead the team in red zone targets this year with a Jalen Hurd or a Deebo Samuel playing the way if they continue to play like they played tonight. Won't do it. So I don't know. Do you guys think I'm harping on being harsh with him?
I don't think so. And what I'm tired of is other fans pick and choose when they want to accept mediocrity, right?
Exactly.
You know,
I'm being blunt and honest.
It's things like that with somebody like him who's in year 4, year 5?
Yeah, going on year 5.
Going on year 5. That should be a routine catch at this point. You know, you're putting up videos of you catching balls from the jug machine on the left side, on the right side, one hand on this side, one hand on the left side. You're putting up all these videos of you making these catches and you doing this extra work, but you can't catch a routine route like that where the quarterback put the ball right on the money, caught you in stride. It's the attention to detail. So we need to stop picking and choosing when we want to accept mediocrity. And for an offensive-driven team with an offensive-minded head coach who wants to, put pressure on the other team by moving the ball, by being consistent, you can't have that. You can't have those drops on the easy ones. Like, so, for example, that play that Nick Mullen had to Richie James, he did have to throw it a little bit high because he had to get it over the linebacker. Richie did make the catch, and then the ground is what kind of forced the incompletion. He didn't really have control of it. Then his arm hit the ground, which caused the incompletion. I'm fine with that one because that was a difficult catch for Richie. He's not 6'4", 6'5", like a Poindexter or a Hurd. He still went up to try to make the catch. I'm okay with that incomplete because that was a difficult pass and a difficult catch. But the one to Bourne, that's something that's routine. You have to make against the B and the C group of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you have to make that catch. So we have to stop settling for mediocrity in certain areas and not in some. Like, our wide receiver core needs to be able to make those catches on a consistent basis to keep this offense moving, keep this offense rolling. Go ahead, JD.
Now, and I see people in the chat saying it was just one drop, and I get that. This is the overreaction show and all that, but it's not. We're not just talking about the one drop. He had more than just one drop in this game. I'm not saying he had multiple drops. What I'm saying is he did a lot more bad things than good. Drew the penalty on the chop block. There's competition on this team now. You can't make those mistakes. And I dare somebody in the chat right now to tell me, what is Kendrick Bourne's role on this team? All the other receivers that we have, you can carve out a role for them. What's Kendrick Bourne's role? Tell me. People, and I saw in the chat people saying, "Oh, if this was Trent Taylor, Nick, you wouldn't say that."
Yes, I would.
First off, Trent Taylor wouldn't drop the ball if it was right in his chest. First off. Secondly, Trent Taylor is not immune to slander. The dude's he's getting beat up. He had the back injury last year, just hurt his foot. We heard about that today. So he's not immune from getting criticized as well. But the point is, Trent Taylor wouldn't drop an open pass to hit him in the numbers. Kendrick Bourne did. Kendrick Bourne does not have a role on this team. What is his one thing that he does better than any other receiver on this squad? Tell me.
This is my question to everybody. Everybody keeps saying Bourne is a young receiver along with other young receivers. Yes, Bourne is a young receiver, but he's a veteran on this team.
Yes.
He is a veteran on this team. You can sit here and say, earlier I said year 5. It's year 3, and that was my bad. I wasn't really paying attention to what was being said. But he's in year 3. But everybody's sitting here saying that he's a young receiver and he gets a pass and he needs to do this. Well, he's a veteran on this team. And you heard him say physically in his own presser, every day you go out there, you need to catch everything thrown at you because this is a competition and anybody can be replaced. And everybody's saying one drop. There have been a ton of KB drops in crucial situations, in game times. Can he go up and make some difficult catches? Yes, he can. But can he make bonehead mistakes and drop easy passes in crucial situations? Yes, he has. Like I said, if he makes this team, how the fuck is a 22-year-old a veteran? He's the veteran on the team.
30 years of that.
Years. How is he not a veteran on this team? You can keep saying that he's not a veteran, but on this team, he is a veteran.
And he's not 22 because if he's been up for 3 years, he didn't make this team at 19. So
I'm just saying, like, I want Kendrick Bourne to make this team. But I'm trying to also point out a fact that with stupid bonehead mistakes like he made tonight,
he won't.
He won't. And he won't because other guys are going to. I didn't see any. I seen who else dropped the ball tonight? Bourne. There was one more.
I mean, technically Richie had a drop, but
oh yeah, the one that was like over the linebacker.
Yeah.
So, but to sit here and say that, and then we're gonna get off this Kendrick Bourne situation. But to say that he's not a veteran on his team and that he doesn't really have to compete for a team to make this team, there's better competition there this year than there was last year.
I mean, did you not just go on a tirade about Dante Pettis, how he needs to perform? Like you're not just criticizing Kendrick Bourne here. Like whoever it is can get it if the criticism is valid. You know what I mean? And Kendrick Bourne needs to step up, just like Dante Pettis.
Look, there's guys on this show, Dre, that support Kendrick Bourne. And I'm sure Mike would say the same thing tonight about dropping passes, and you can't do that if you want to make this team. Because there is competition in this room this year that is going to put Kendrick Bourne, Richie James, Jordan Matthews, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurd, Dante Pettis on their tippy toes. That's all I'm trying to say. Even Marquise Goodwin could be a surprise cut this year. And he's the fastest guy on the team. But if other guys are playing better than him, they're going to play. And that's a good thing to have. But to sit here and say that Kendrick Bourne is the best receiver on this team or top 4 right now, when I just seen a performance out of a rookie in his first NFL game shine. Like crazy shine. It's not about KB hate. It's just he needs to play better if he wants to make this team. 100%. That's a true state fact. He needs to play better. So, no, I'm not saying that Dre said he's the best, Dre. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to say that he's a top 6 guy right now, I wouldn't even put him in the top 6 right now from performance tonight. I just can't do it. Like, you can be a practice. You could shine and practice all you want, but what it comes down to is when you're up against other teams. That's what it comes down to. Practice is you're going up against a defense that knows what you're running. Your offense, and your defense is going up against an offense that they know what you're running. It's vanilla.
And, I mean, it is one game. We can come out next week and after the game next week have a completely different take. We could say, oh, Pettis is looking good again. He's got his head on straight. Oh, Kendrick came out and redeemed himself. I mean, it is just one game. So, and I know this is the overreaction show, but just to calm things down a little bit. I mean, look, it is just one game. But there's competition. That's the whole thing, man. There's competition, one game or not. Every play, every rep, everything counts. Yep. You know, so we're talking right here, right now. Next week it could be something completely different. But tonight, right here, right now, it is what it is.
And it's the mentality. You can't have that mentality of I didn't have a good game, but I can make it up next game. Because what if you don't make it up next game? What if because of game 1, you don't get those same opportunities in game 2? So you can't make it up. And then if somebody else signs in game 2, then they get more opportunities in game 3. Game 3 in the preseason, the starters play more often. They play a little bit longer into the third quarter. So what if you don't get that opportunity into the 4th preseason game? And by that time, it's too late. You can't have that mentality of, I'll make it up in the next one. No, you gotta show me something right now. Like you said, JD, every rep counts. Every game rep counts. You got to make it count. And tonight, he dropped the ball, literally and figuratively.
And real quick, Nick, before we move on, I'm a Trent Taylor stan just like the next guy. I love Trent Taylor. But as soon as I heard the injury news tonight that he broke his toe or whatever, I put out on Twitter immediately. I don't know if Trent Taylor can hold up in the NFL. I mean, I know it was just a pinky toe. I know it's not really that big of a deal, but he had the back injury. Now he's breaking his toe in practice. Like, he's small. I don't know if necessarily he's injury prone, but I'm not critical, or I'm critical of guys that I like too. Trent Taylor deserves criticism. It's a worthwhile question. Is he built for the NFL because he's smaller? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if you're Trent Taylor, a player that I really like. It doesn't matter if you're Dante Pettis, a second rounder who played well last year. It doesn't matter if you're Jerry Rice. If you're fucking up on the field, you're gonna get criticized for it. And Kendrick Bourne's getting criticized right now, and some people can't take that.
Look, Trent Taylor's in the same boat as everybody else.
Yeah.
Trent Taylor is in the same boat as everybody else. As much as I like Trent Taylor and his hands and the way that he gets open for, on third downs and he catches the football, his ass can still be cut too. This injury is not any good for him. No. With guys shining like Jalen Hurd and Deebo Samuel.
He needed this camp and this round of preseason games to reestablish that presence, to reestablish, his value on third downs, his value as being Jimmy Garoppolo's go-to when he needed a big play, when he needed some yards to pick up that third down. He needed this time to kind of reestablish it because of the back injury last year. And now you have the foot injury. Now you may not be able to do that as well as you might have liked to. So now, yeah, he's somebody that when he does get his reps, if he does get them, he's going to have to show something because he has to reestablish that.
I see in the chat just now, Dre says that he's known Kendrick Bourne's family for over 15 years. That's why he's such a big fan.
Well, it is what it is,
But
all right, let's move on, man. And look, Jalen Hurd, really good game tonight. Obviously, 2 touchdowns, physical. Deebo Samuel, contested catch, good job out of him. You've seen some goods from Richie James tonight. That first one he dropped, yes, was horrible, almost a fumble, but thankfully it wasn't. Dante Pettis was absent. You didn't see anything from him. Raheem Mostert went out with another concussion. And tonight was his chance to really run the football. Everybody said to me that he wouldn't run 12 times or more this game. If he was healthy, he would have ran 12 times or more this game because it would have been him and Austin Walter. Mm-hmm. You probably wouldn't even seen Wilds, who just came in today. So I think the only reason you saw him was because there was only 3 guys suited up. So that's why you saw so much of Wilds and Walter. But the bad, man. Dude, we need some depth on this O-line. This O-line is tremendous. And it's so bad. I mean, I don't understand this. And maybe one of you can explain it to me. Maybe one of you can explain this to me. We had the same line in there for CJ's first series. And his eyes were just like huge. Like I don't know what it is with him. He gets better as the game goes along. But in the beginning, he still looked like the same CJ to me. And with the same offensive line. But before we get into him, what are your guys' thoughts on this offensive line, man? Probably 11 penalties from the offensive line tonight?
Yeah, Willie Beavers was particularly bad. Just the way he got his hands on guys, he always seemed to wrap and hold and arm bar. It was bad once Shon Coleman went down. I think, I'm not gonna weigh too heavily on the offensive line because obviously it was none of our starters. But this is where injuries come in, and this is where health comes in, because if the 5 guys who we have starting, if any one of those guys go down, are we confident in their replacement? Are we confident in their backup? are we confident in guys like Willie Beavers and Najee Torin and whoever else is back there to make up, that second unit of the offensive line? After what I saw today, I am not confident in that second group should one of those guys go down. So,
and that's why I dwell on this so much tonight, because Weston Richburg, we're not sure when's going to start. Ben Garland didn't play a bad center when he was in there. Najee Torin went in and played center at one point. This guy's a guard. You know what I mean? He was playing center tonight. But man, if we have to go into this league year with some of those backups on the line, I mean, this was really Joshua Garnett's year to shine. Like, this was really his year to shine and make this team. And every day it just looks like Joshua Garnett may still make this team because of how bad the guys that are behind him really are right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they were just tonight, the offensive line, I think there was like 11 penalties. I think 5 of them were Willie Beavers, which with that name, you should just be penalized anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I mean, truthfully, man, that was probably the scariest thing for me tonight, was to where we could have legitimately lost the game from offensive line play.
Now, I mean, obviously the backups didn't look that great on the O-line. We know that. We saw that. But once Richburg comes back, we'll have Garland for depth at center and guard. Losing Shon Coleman was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Our top swing tackle, I mean, that's going to suck. That's going to hurt, linger, whatever. Justin School, the rookie's going to have to step up. But the rest of the guys, I don't really have much to say. Like, if they're not on the team, I'm not going to shed a tear about it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really worth the time to talk about, man. They didn't look good. This team needs to do something. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try and make some sort of a trade, maybe pick up another lineman. Like you said, Josh Garnett might just be able to hang on to a roster spot out of necessity. The backups did not look good tonight. Fortunately, those guys won't be playing, week 1 when we kick things off.
I said Ben Garland. I didn't mean to say Ben Garland. It was whatchamacallit that started at center. I forget the dude's name now. Najee Torin played in the second half. I'll think of it. It's a guy that I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it's we gave up sacks later in the game. The pressure was there, but Nick Mullins' interception is his fault, because he should have just tucked the ball, because he had no throwing lane. But you could also put it on the pressure, because he was literally hit. He was literally hit as he was throwing it and had no throwing lane. C.J. Beathard's, though, his interception was a wide open pocket, staring down his receiver, staring, and then throws somewhere else, and not seeing the single high safety come down into the box. So
CJ being CJ.
Yeah, that really, really, really was. I can't remember who started at center. I could have swore that it was Ben Garland, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's why Ben Garland's name was stuck in my head, who the first center was. But if you guys can think of it, who it was, let me know. All right. If we were to go into the season right now with Jalen Hurd, Deebo Samuel, how would you feel as them guys on the outside right now?
I want to see Goodwin get out there. I want to see Trent Taylor's got to get healthy. But, just to answer your question, I guess, Hurd, I would like to see it, just because you saw the different things that they did with him tonight. Deebo kind of took a little bit to get going, and they had him out there, late in the preseason game. So I'm wondering how they really feel about where he's at right now. But he looked good. He made some plays. We know that. But I feel like we have other receivers going into week 1 that we should play over those guys at least just initially. One preseason game. I might change my mind after next week or the week after, but right now I think it's a little early.
Yeah, I think it's a little too early to have both of them on the outside. They are rookies. So we want to temper our expectations of what they're going to be able to do, year one. They still have to get acclimated to the league. And they're not playing right now. They're not playing against first team defenses.
They did, though. Dallas's starting defense was out there pretty much the whole first quarter.
Half of their starters were out there.
I think I counted 7.
Yeah, so that's about half. So I mean, that's not a full. And then we know preseason, you're just going up against shells. You're not going up against defenses that are tailored to what you're going to do based off film. I want them on the team. I want them to make the 53, and I want them to have, substantial roles. But having them as, day one starters on the outside, I don't know if that would be a good idea, for them at the beginning of the season. Let them get a little bit more acclimated. Let them get, some reps, some games underneath them. Let them get a feel for, what a real game is like instead of a preseason game, and then see, how the season progresses, what they can do, and then place them accordingly.
And look, we didn't even see them play with Jimmy. We didn't see them play with the starting offensive line. Right. I mean, there's still a lot we haven't seen with those guys, so I think it's just premature.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say. I just wanted to hear what your thoughts were on those two. Now let's talk about a positive. This defensive front, and they weren't even our guys going up against Dallas's first-string offense. That was their entire first-string offense.
Yeah, can somebody tell me who Jeremiah Valoga is?
Where he came from. Because he got signed 2 days ago.
He signed 2 days ago and he had 2 sacks.
2 sacks.
Man.
I mean, Contavious Street balled out.
He did.
Julian Taylor balled out.
He did.
Valaga balled out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there was pressure. And there were some times that we missed some sacks. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Robert Saleh called a good game today.
My feelings about Robert Saleh. I have been a champion of get Robert Saleh out of here. But I do agree with you. The game that he called today was masterful. With the penalties that we had, giving Dallas good field position.
5 trips to the red zone and not a single touchdown.
To not give up a touchdown, to only give up, 3 field goals, to have that goal line stand that we had at the end of the game after a penalty.
Two penalties.
Dante Booty Johnson, as you like to call him, Nick. That front 7 played well. You can see the influence of Chris Kosaric, and with the calls that Saleh's making, I can't wait until week 1, and that front is Bosa and Ford and Buckner and Solly and Armstead. I can't wait to see that group. If that group plays like this group played, whoo.
Everybody was saying, so tonight, I'm going to go back to a bad right now. The front was good. My eyes, the corners, Maben was giving up some slants, giving too much leverage. Exum played well. Tavarius Moore played well. Akello played okay for his first series that he was out there or whatever.
Yeah, JD, me and JD.
I said okay. I didn't say good. I said okay.
I don't know. I don't know about okay.
He only gave up 1 catch.
Yeah, but he looked bad on how he gave it up. He was late on his break. It was a lazy play by him. I don't know if he was expecting a double move or what, but he was late on the break.
He got shook out his shoes. Just say it. He got shook out his shoes, man.
Yeah.
No, the guy ran a great comeback route. He literally ran a great comeback route. But I'm not going to take it away from – I'm not going to put it all on Akello right now because it was only one play that I seen.
Right.
He didn't give up any big plays. We did not give up any big plays downfield. Is kind of what I'm trying to say too.
Okay.
Right?
Except for Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, but Dre Greenlaw, there were 2 busted coverages. Now, that you expect out of a rookie linebacker.
Right.
Like, you expect that. You know what I mean? But he made up for that shit.
Oh, my God.
Because he is, I mean, the hitting, the physicality.
Yes.
He's got a nose for the ball. You expect to have penalties in preseason because you have a lot of young guys. You got, bottom of the tier NFL players, Justin Schools, Willie Beavers, you got these type of guys. And then defensively, Dre Greenlaw gave up those 2 coverages, but the way the defense reacted and still only gave up 3 points on that drive, one of those drives was a blown coverage and a PI call is when the first offense got their first field goal.
Mm-hmm.
We shut them down in the red zone, right? Walked out with 3. The next drive that they had another PI call on, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Dante Johnson. His was at the end. And another blown coverage by Dre Greenlaw. Where big plays. Get a field goal out of it. To be what I was trying to say about this is I'm trying to give Robert Saleh credit on the way he called the game because the pressure in the third quarter and the fourth quarter was totally different than what it was in the first and the second.
Yes.
And you've seen the players dial up instead of dialing down like we're used to. Yeah. The hits were there. The physicality was there. The blitzes were there. They were at the right time. You didn't see many guys dropping into coverage as linemen. Then I think that's why they're rotating that whole safety portion is to overcompensate for that. Marcel Harris balled out. Anton Exum played it well. DJ Reed balled out. Like, there are a lot of guys that literally balled out on this defense tonight. And whether it was up front or in the back, our secondary looked really good tonight, to be honest.
Yeah, we can finally say that we have a little bit of legitimate depth. I mean, we saw that tonight, and it was nice, man. Especially with all the injuries that we seem to get every other day. It's kind of nice to know that we have some guys kind of waiting in the wings that are ready to go and look good when they get out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, to give up only 9 points for us is really good, first off. To score both times we went to the red zone, getting 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, one being a 53-yarder, one being a short one, and then two right? No, it was 1 field goal. The 53-yarder, 3 times in the red zone, and 2 touchdowns. Right? Yeah, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So the 53-yarder and the 2 touchdowns. That's huge for our offense. No matter who's on the field, because our red zone has been dookie. It's been dookie. So like I said, Dre Greenlaw, some mental mistakes tonight, but he's a football player. I think he'll fix it. I have no worries about him fixing it. Eric Crocker said to me and on our show that Tim Harris did not look good at all before in camp. Tim Harris didn't look very bad tonight. There were a couple plays where he could have had the interception. He got his hand on the ball. Receiver made a great catch. He jumped the ball like he should have. Now, towards the end of the game, if the ball wasn't overthrown, he would have been toast. And the one that he got toasted on where Exum came across and played the single high safety and broke up the pass with him was a good play, but Tim Harris got burnt on that. So there's some things that he has to work on because he's not going to make this team if he plays like that. Because you've seen it out of other guys like DJ Reed, Exum, not Exum, Mosley. Because Mosley started at corner. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
No,
Yeah.
he looked solid. He looked solid.
And then came in and played slot, and then played safety. So he was like all over the field. What was your biggest takeaway? And we're coming up on an hour here, so I want to see what your guys' biggest takeaway was of the game overall tonight. Give me one good and one bad, and try not to use the same answer.
Well, my one good. I mean, I said Jalen Hurd earlier, but I want to stray away from that because that's low hanging fruit. That's an easy one. Mitch Wishnowsky, man. Mitch looked really good tonight. He looked. I mean, his average tonight was like 50 point some odd yards, which would have been the tops in the league last year. I saw that got tweeted out during the game. Mitch looked great, man. A lot of people criticized that 4th round pick, being used on a punter. He looked damn good tonight. I think we're set at punter. I mean, you can say that after one preseason game. I don't think that's an overreaction. And then
before you go into bed, I want to do everybody's goods, but I want to touch on that real quick. He looked good punting. He did not look good doing kickoffs, in my eyes. I mean, you only hit the end zone once. Then you kick one out of bounds, which gave him to the 40. And then the other 2 kicks were at like the 15. To me, I want a touchback every single time on a kickoff. I don't even want a guy to have the opportunity to run one back. But it's his first time ever kicking off a tee. It's new to him, so I'm sure his leg will be getting better. But that was a little worrisome because then we got old Robbie, who I would rather save to kick field goals than do the kickoffs. But that made me a little nervous because, and like Kyle Shanahan said, they got to do something with his sleeves because his sleeves looked horrible.
Yeah.
So, all right, Marcus, JD gave a good. I want to hear a good from you real quick.
Yeah, JD stole my good because I should have went first because Mitch is definitely as advertised. But if I'm gonna go with the good, I'm gonna double back and double down on Dre Greenlaw. Obviously, he did have a couple of mistakes tonight. He definitely did have the roughing the passer, which is something that you don't want to see. He could have pulled back on that one. But the very next play after the roughing the passer call, he bursts through the line and makes a beautiful tackle for loss. They say he fell in the draft because of his speed. I saw sideline to sideline. I saw somebody who was fast. I saw somebody who was physical. I saw somebody who, at the point of contact, is ready to make an impact, and you're gonna feel every bit of that shoulder pad when he hits you. What I also like as a positive is when he did make those mistakes, the very next play he did something that was good. So the mistakes don't linger with him. He doesn't get down. He doesn't, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. And now it's a cascade of bad plays. So he makes a mistake. He erases that from his memory. He comes back the next play and he does something that you're like, okay, 57, I see what you're doing out there. So I like what I saw from Dre Greenlaw tonight. I was very happy with that.
Nice. I can't debate that at all. Like I think, we already talked about Dre. I think, he made some mental mistakes, but like you said, he came back. You can tell he's a football player, and he has a passion for it and the drive, and he wants to be good. Let's see. So we got Mitch Wishnowsky. We got Dre Greenlaw. I'm going to go with Exum. I think Exum was a really big bright spot for this team for the secondary. And he was just lights out tonight. I mean, he was physically – you can see the competition there. Like, these guys are straight balling. They're hitting. They're rapping. They're being physical. There's more than one guy where the ball's at. And then you see Salah getting pumped up. Then you see Chris Kosaric on the sideline yelling at the guys. Like like keep that fire type of shit. So I'm going to go with Exum. I think he had a really good game tonight. I'm going to be interested to see what he does next week and see how things go with that. But if Dre Greenlaw makes it, obviously he's going to make the team. But if he starts with Fred Warner and Quan Alexander, whew,
That's a solid linebacking core.
that's solid, like true solid. So, all right, so that's the goods. Marcus, we'll switch it up this time. You go bad first, then JD, and then
Okay.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
Go first. Well, then you go first again.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Wow. Where do I want to go? Bad. Okay. My bad. I'm going to go with penalties. 18 penalties for 216 yards. As I was driving home, I was listening to the game. And then I was listening to the third quarter in the car and then watched the fourth, finished watching the fourth once I got home. But 18 penalties for 216 yards. And I was thinking about this question that I wanted to pose to you guys and to all of the fans watching. I believe Kyle is a good head coach. I really do. Obviously, he's a genius offensive mind. But my question regarding Kyle, and I know we had a lot of second, third, and fourth stringers in there, a lot of young guys. So there's a lot of mental mistakes. But even last year, we had this issue with penalties. And in our first game, to have 18 penalties where the opposing team only had 5, is there an issue of discipline on this team? Do you guys have a feeling that Kyle may not be instilling the right amount of discipline in all aspects of the game with all players, top to bottom, offense and defense? Do you guys see an issue there? Is this something that is just, spotty in certain games or depending on who's playing? Or do you guys see this as maybe being a legit issue going forward?
you want me to answer first, JD?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my whole perspective on it is 2 of our guys went down who were supposed to be playing in Coleman, Najee Torin, and I think one more other guy came out. Do I think this is going to be an issue, or do I think this is an issue with discipline? No, because I think guys that were committing the penalties were guys that barely get any snaps in training camp. And they're new, they're young. Preseason, you want to – don't get me wrong, 18 penalties is a ton of penalties. But the Niners averaged 7 last year, penalties per game, right? So to have 18 in one game for 200 and some odd yards, do I think it's lack of discipline? No, I think it's lack of the talent being in that position right now, because I don't think that we had I don't think we're going to see that type of lack of discipline with 1s and 2s. But when we get to that bottom of that depth chart, you got guys that never played in an NFL game. Justin School was getting demolished. He had no other option but to hold. Willie Beavers is just Willie Beavers. I can't even say this guy's name, bro. And then you have, Najee Torin, who is really, a practice squad guy that went down with an injury. You lose Shon Coleman, who is probably a 2, a backup guy, and then you go to a 3 and a 4, guys that don't get practices at camp. I was surprised to see Wilton Spate tonight for that reason, because Wilton Spate wasn't taking any practice 11-on-11 snaps in training camp at all. So to see him get what I think I'm seeing now is the fact of who's going to get stashed on the practice squad, or if CJ is going to go somewhere else. Because I think Nick Mullins is still leading that competition. Kyle Shanahan just doesn't want to say it publicly. But we'll see. But to answer your question, I don't think it's a discipline thing. I think it's just about a matter of where we were on the depth chart.
Okay.
That's what I think. And I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a discipline thing, but I really don't think it is. I think you expect 5 to 8 penalties in a preseason game, but I think we had it a little more tonight because we were a little bit further down our depth chart of guys that, rookies or just never played in an NFL game, don't know what the speed's like. Oh, shit, that guy's quick, wrap around, holding, because we had a lot of penalty or plays that were good plays called back because of hold. So hopefully that gets fixed this week. I think there will be more discipline onto it in practices next week, especially we get to go up against Denver first. I think that will help.
To answer your question, Marcus, I'll make it quick, man. We had 28 players that didn't play tonight. The majority of these guys aren't going to be playing anytime soon. I'm not concerned about the penalties. First preseason game, knock the rust off, whatever. Combination of all those things, I'm not really concerned about it. Like I said, 28 players didn't play tonight, the majority of which are starters. So I'm not too concerned about the penalties. Let's see how the penalties go when we get some of the starters out there. Then we can make an actual reaction to it. And then, if you don't mind, I'll just follow up with my bad point here. And I know that he's a friend of the show, and so I don't mean any disrespect to the man, Adrian Colbert, man. Adrian Colbert was my bad. He's in a wide open battle right now for that free safety spot, and he gets thrown out of a game for a unnecessary hit. I mean, there was no point for that. And when you're in the middle of a battle like that and it's wide open, I mean, Jimmy Ward is pretty much on the outside looking in at this point because Tarvarius Moore is out there, playing pretty solid and getting reps with the ones and whatnot. And Colbert was the starter before. And, you have this open opportunity to come in and make your mark and make that position yours, and you get thrown out of a game. Not a good look, man. Not a good look.
My thoughts on that is I don't think it was a bad thing, to be honest, because he was playing fast and physical. He went in for a tackle not knowing the guy didn't catch the football. The only problem is, and Kyle Shanahan even said this in his presser, the only problem is he led with his head. And he says, but I don't think he intentionally did it. It's just the speed of the game. And
right.
To me,
he didn't intentionally do it. He didn't intentionally do it, but regardless, it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't fault the guy for that because he's playing physical. And that's something we didn't see from Adrian Colbert at the end of the year last year or in the beginning of the year last year. We didn't see that physicality. He wasn't even getting to make the play to make those hits. So, I mean, it's bad because it was a big penalty. It was a big penalty. But I won't take it all out on him because me personally, because I just think he was playing physical. He was playing fast. He was playing physical. He was hyped up, and then all of a sudden, I've seen good calls, like good hits, get a penalty. This wasn't a good hit. He led with his head. He's got to get right with that. He's got to get better with that. I agree. All right, so it's my turn for bad?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, man. All right, so we said offensive line. We said Adrian Colbert, right?
No, I said penalties.
Penalties, yeah. Penalties, which was the offensive line. Pretty damn much. All right, bad. A bad for me tonight. I already mentioned one of the bads, Mitch Wisnowski's kickoffs. I think they need to get better, but I'm not going to go with that because I already said that.
CJ Beathard.
Yeah, but that's a given. CJ Beathard is a given for me. That's a huge given for me. He's not Nick Mullins, my son. That's just a huge given for me. I'm going to go with play calling. And your guys are going to probably look at me like, what? But there were some times that where I just didn't think I thought we could have got away with a little bit of a play action, or instead of just running the ball, running dives, basically. we were just basically running dives for like when CJ went out there, his first 3 series, I think he had like 2 throws and the rest were rush. So to me, that is like, why are you not? And I asked the guys in my MB Niners chat, I'm like, is it me or is it just the play calling has completely changed from Nick Mullins to CJ Beathard? And I put that on Kyle Shanahan because you need to test CJ Beathard right now. Like, you need to test him in the pocket. I don't know if you guys noticed that too. I mean,
what if he doesn't want to test him?
Yeah, but if you're going to trade his ass, you need to test him.
Who's going to trade for CJ?
I don't think there's anybody.
I don't know, dude.
Did
Did you see Blake Bortles playing today? CJ's a better quarterback than Blake Bortles right now.
I'm a better quarterback than Blake Bortles right now. I mean,
right, but still,
it's not hard.
Blake Bortles could get cut, and you could see CJ Beathard on the Rams. Like
that's only because he knows our offense, and that would be beneficial to their defense.
Yeah, this is true. All right, so here, would he replace Tom Savage, who's had another concussion this year, who got popped out again? He could be a backup for Houston.
He could replace Josh Rosen.
Because
he looked bad.
There's as bad as CJ Beathard is, there's people that will go out there and trade. You're not getting much.
No.
Probably a 7th rounder.
Probably.
But to get him off the roster, I think there's some guys that would pick him up. So
the grocery store up the street from my house might pick him up. He can bag some groceries up there.
I don't even think he belongs in a grocery store. I think it's more of a bathroom. But let's see. Patrick Cotham says the Steelers will trade for him. I don't think so because Josh Doxson looks really good. That's their rookie's name, right? Doxson?
No, that's a receiver. You're thinking Dobbs. Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs. That's what I'm thinking. Dobbs. I knew it was one of them. Dobbs, Doxson, Dobbs. Let's see. We're going to take some questions here real quick if we see any questions. And then we're going to get into – I don't want to get into too many more of the goods because I want to – true Cowboy backups. Somebody said the Cowboys backups were bad tonight. I don't think they were that bad. I just think they didn't have damn time to throw the football. Because once that first line came out, they were getting dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the first line, there were some really good pressures drawn up and some really good pressure plays called up. So, but, yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. You guys got anything else?
No, I think we covered it, man.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
All right, so to end it real quick, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade today's preseason game? And let's remind everybody, it is preseason, and you shouldn't look too much into it or look too not enough into it. But what would you grade what you saw today from some of the guys that you're wanting to see? Let's base it off of the guys you wanted to see. And if you want to name those guys that you wanted to see and then give it a grade from 1 to 10 on how you think they produced today or how they did in their first preseason game.
I'll grade it a 17 for Jalen Hurd. Does that work? Does that work, man? But no, I saw some good, saw some bad. Didn't get to see a lot of the starters and whatnot. Kind of a mixed bag of things. I'd give it a solid 6.
Well, that's why I said don't grade it on the team. Grade it on the players that you wanted to watch.
Right.
And what you thought from them. Because obviously we didn't see starters. So, all right, Marcus, he gives it a 6. What do you think?
If we're going based off of players, so I wanted to see Mitch Wisnowski in live action. As far as his punting, the guy was amazing. I give Mitch a 9. I'll knock 1 point off for his kickoff duties. Jalen Hurd gets a 10. You saw his ability to separate, get open, strong hands, his physicality to finish the plays, his ability to go up and attack the ball at the highest point. Deebo Samuel, he gets an 8. He had the end around, which he picked up solid yards. He had the deep catch where he attacked the ball at its highest point, snatched it over defender. I love what I saw from him. Dre Greenlaw, he gets an 8 from me. some mistakes, but then some really, really good plays. Akello Weatherspoon disappointed me. I know it was only that one play, but I felt that, coming out of the game, the first play, they went to his side. And I think teams have that mindset that if he's on the field, that's where we're going to attack first until he proves to us that we can attack that side. So he gets a 5. And lastly, just from my notes from the game, I'll give Marcel Harris a 7. He had the holding on 4th down, which got declined because there was another penalty. He did take a bad angle on an early 3rd down blitz that he had, which could have been a tackle for a loss. But there were other plays. He had solid tackles. He was all over the field. So he gets a 6 from me as far as what I saw from Marcel Harris today.
Nice. That was a good breakdown. I mean, you said a lot of people that I wanted to say. Now, I see, before I go into that, I see this question, were short kickoffs on purpose? And I didn't think about this. It's preseason. Do they want to see what their guys can do on kickoffs, as in coverage and tackling and things like that, instead of kicking the ball out of the end zone, seeing what they can evaluate, as in who your gunners are, things like that, like type of things like that? I didn't think of that. So that's actually a really good question, Tim, because that could possibly be why they were kicking the ball short, is to see what they have on special teams, how these guys are competing on special teams. Because if you kick it out of the end zone, they're just running downfield. That's it. So that's an interesting.
And then to throw another wrench in there, they're always talking about the types of kicks that Mitch has as far as punting. I don't know if it's the same thing, kicking off of a tee, but if he's able to get some type of English, I heard the broadcaster say tonight that the way Mitch kicks the ball is going to cause a lot of muffs this year. Well, what if we're also trying to see if he can do that on kickoffs, because a muff on a kickoff, if we can, get that, a fumble recovery, that's also a huge momentum swing in the game, just like it is on punts. So you could look at it from that angle as well. But I think what you're saying, as far as seeing what you have, as far as, okay, who's on the bubble and who can make this roster on special teams, I think that's more of a plausible explanation of why kickoffs may have been short today.
Yeah, and I didn't even think of that until that question just popped up. I did want to give this bad, though, before I went. Greg Papa. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I don't know why. I just cannot stand it, dude. He was calling guys the wrong names. He was like totally out there. His touchdown call that he kept hyping up wasn't even a touchdown call. Like, that was one of my bads today. I don't like Tim Ryan, but I'd rather listen to Tim Ryan than Greg Papa. So it's going to suck, man. It's going to really suck having to listen to them because, oh, man, he was bad, bro. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets better because that was whew. Maybe
he had to knock the rust off too.
Bro. And it was funny, though. The best part of that whole situation was when they were going back to last year when Nick Mullins started and they brought up the Oakland game. And he was like sitting there talking about it. He's like, oh, yeah, he came out on fire. Like, just talking about it. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It just might be something about Papa's voice. It might just be how Tim Ryan was correcting him so much on so many different calls and so many different like penalties. Like the one time they're just BSing, had no idea about the unsportsmanlike conduct of what happened, as in the player throwing the football, because they weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, what do you mean? Oh, there's a late flag. Oh, well, did somebody say something? Like they had no clue what was going on, either one of them. To me, if you're just listening to the show, you have no idea what's going on. So anyway, it definitely messed it up for me tonight. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for that. other than that, there was a lot. My players, I wanted to see Deebo. I'd probably give him. I'm gonna give him an 8. I'm gonna give him a 9, probably, just because of the fact of how he went up and got that football. I seen it in practice, and now I seen it in a game. So that's showing you physicality of him. He was good on the end around. What he grabbed, 14 or 19 yards on that one end around. So I was happy with that. Dre Greenlaw, I was completely happy with. I'd probably give him around a 7 as well, due to the fact that some mental mistakes, but also came back the next time and corrected them. And he's a baller. I said it already. He's got a nose for the ball. Turnovers. And I want to throw this in there, was something that was big for us tonight. We had the strip sack, the other fumble, one brought back, obviously. The fumble that we got in the thing, that's a good sign. The physicality of the way people were playing tonight. You even seen Akello Witherspoon. When on that play where he did the comeback, Akello Witherspoon attacked and held him up so another guy could come over and was trying to strip the ball. Like, those are things that you teach. Like, hold up, let the next guy take the ball. You know what I mean? Make the tackle, let the guy take the ball. But that kind of stood out to me tonight. Hands were flailing. Balls were trying to be punched out. And it wasn't they were so much focused on the turnover. They were more focused on the tackle, but other guys were focused on the turnover. And if they were making the tackle, they were still focused on the tackle more than the turnover. So I like to see that, because if you just focus on the turnover, you're going to miss tackles. So I want to bring that in. Nick Mullins. I mean, Nick Mullins played okay. I think he still needs to get better with his arm strength outside the numbers a little bit. And I love Nick Mullins. I'm a huge fan of Nick Mullins, but there's still ways that he can progress his game. I'd probably give him about a 6 tonight, because the one interception I wouldn't have thrown as a quarterback. But other than that, I mean, he was throwing balls. The slants were right in. He threw some tight coverage throws. But I'd like to see him get a little bit better outside the numbers. With those strong, that velocity on those. It's not that I don't think he can make those throws. Who was the other guy? Mitch Wishnowski, you guys said. I'm not going to go over him again. I wanted to see him. He gets a 9, 10 for me. Easy. If we don't take the point away for the kickoffs. Let's see.
I think
the running backs.
Yeah.
This Austin Walter is good, man. He's got good vision. He's got good cutback. He's got good speed. He could catch the ball. I don't know, man. Raheem Mostert might be put on that watch out for type thing. But that's just because, I mean, people will say I'm not a Raheem Mostert fan too. But, I mean, this kid showed he can play tonight. And it's only one preseason game. But I wanted to see what our run game was going to look like. I was waiting to see with Raheem Mostert. I can't say that it was Austin Walter. But he played well. What are your thoughts, Marcus, real quick, on Austin Walter?
I like what I saw from him. I think he does have good hands. He has good vision, quick feet, able to make good cuts based off of his vision. I think he put somebody like a Jeff Wilson and a Raheem Mostert on that bubble. If he can produce at a better rate, obviously we have 3 guys who we know are our cream of the crop, who we know are going to get the bulk of the touches in the backfield. But if he can add some depth in special teams as maybe a kick returner, punt returner, or if he can come in and spell one of those guys, just to give them a breather. I like what I saw from him. I want to see it a little bit more, maybe in that second preseason game, and then that 4th preseason game. I want to see a little bit more consistency. I want to, hear more about what he's able to do in practice. But he, again, I think tonight was a coming out party for a lot of the young guys on this team, saying that, yes, we're young, yes, we're rookies, but we're here to play. We're here to make a statement. We're here to make this team, and we're going to make it tough on you guys that have been here for a while. So he was one of those in that group.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I just like that he's, you never hear of this guy. He comes in, he's an undrafted guy, and then he's playing well. And I know it's preseason against 2s and 3s, but he was out there too. Well, he came in against the 1s, or there's 7 guys on defense. They're starters. But yeah, a lot of backup running backs have looked good in preseason, then do nothing in real games. Walter, a practice squad guy. I mean, right now you can say he's a practice squad guy, but he has that to prove. He still has that to prove. So, let's see. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys real quick about is, and then we'll get off here. Did you notice how much more pressure we brought when they went 4 wide?
Yeah, I noticed it.
You've seen how much better our upfront pressure was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Arizona's going to be running, and I think they said this on the broadcast tonight. Arizona runs a lot of 4 wide sets, and we're going to have bigger and better guys in there. I'm interested to see how that works out because they run a lot of 4 wide set, and our pressure looked really good on 4 wide sets tonight.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to Mike. I know he's having fun at the bachelor party. But a couple weeks ago, he did an update video about signings, and he was really intrigued and really excited about the signing of DeMontre Moore. I know you want to, stay away from some of the good, but I have to give Mike his shout out because DeMontre Moore is also somebody who played very well tonight. And having him as part of that D-line rotation, I think it's something that will benefit us if he can continue to play the way he played tonight. But he played very, very well. And he was part of that group that brought that extra pressure, especially into the third and fourth quarter. He was relentless.
Yeah, he's the one that came up with the fumble recovery too.
Yes.
He was always there and hit on stunts and things like that. And Mike, I know you're going to go back and watch this, but I did not purposely leave him out. I just totally forgot to bring him in because he definitely balled out tonight.
Yes, he did.
Definitely balled out. I'll give you those props. I didn't hold that out intentionally, but because, I said he was a camp body when we first brought him here. Then he got cut and then brought back, but he looked really, really good tonight. So definitely props to DeMontre Moore, Contavious Street, Julian Taylor. All those guys held their own tonight, man. I was super excited to see what I saw. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you wish JD a happy birthday, man. It's his 32nd birthday today. He was supposed to go to the game, but couldn't go to the game. Family priorities, but we understand those things. But, man, happy birthday, JD. Appreciate you coming on as always. If you guys haven't already, go over and hit up JD's YouTube channel at JD. It's at Hawk Hater TV.
Yep.
And then at Hawk Hater TV on Twitter as well. Marcus, what is your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle, Instagram handle is all the same thing. At Agent Mose, AGENT MOSE.
At Agent Mose. So give Marcus a follow right there on Instagram or Twitter at Agent Mose, like that. You guys already pretty much know JD, so I'm not going to put his in here. But like I said, leave a comment. Show that birthday love to JD. And, I appreciate you guys jumping on. And all of you faithful joining us. We have 223 in here tonight, 226 so far. I want to see 226 likes. Everybody hit that like and subscribe button for me. And if you haven't already, do that right now. Make sure you guys tune in with us. Set your bell for notifications. Give us a follow on Twitter and Snapchat. That is at Nothing But Niners on Twitter and Snapchat. That's right there for you. And then you can check out Nothing But Niners, all spelled out, on Facebook and Instagram, our Facebook page. And with this new system, we can actually start going live from both, going to Facebook Live and YouTube at the same time simultaneously. So that Make sure you guys check that out. We have over 10,000 subscribers or followers on our Facebook page. So big shout out to NY to the Bay, Mike holding Facebook and Instagram down as always. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys tonight, man. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll see you guys next week or next video, obviously. Marcus, thanks for joining. JD, thanks for joining. And Faithful, above all else, stay faithful. We out of here. Peace.